Many of you are probably familiar with the little saying of how do you eat an elephant? And the answer is just one bite at a time. And in the same way, I find that this study technique is so helpful for maths, but for life in general. That if you say, oh, I want to try and do a maths paper, I'm going to make you proud, then any maths paper, at least in grade 11 or 12, is probably realistically taking you about 3 hours. And so to lock yourself in a room and do a maths paper for 3 hours is quite an impressive discipline and feat. And in many ways, like previous videos, I would actually recommend breaking up your day with little breaks. And so I've been amazed over all the years of teaching how often people are paralyzed to even start. And I think what's happening is a technique called gradient, where you've set yourself a goal. So let's just say I want to run a 10-kilometer race, and you go straight for that. So having not done running at all, you try and go for an 8-kilometer fast run at the pace that you're wanting to do. And two terrible things happen. The one is that you don't typically achieve that goal and that practice goal. Secondly, you say to yourself, oh, I tried running, I couldn't do it, so I suck. I'm not going to do running again. Or I tried to do maths, it was so hard, I suck, I can't do maths, let me do maths lit. And one of the most incredible processes like this that I experienced in my life was choosing to do a half Ironman with my 3 siblings. And I went from someone who hadn't swum or cycled in about 10 years to just getting a program. And that program said run 2 kilometers, swim 8 lengths of a swimming pool, and cycle for 10 minutes. And all those things were awesomely doable. And it was incredible to see over the months how just incrementally, bit by bit by bit, those distances would get bigger and bigger and bigger until eventually I was able to do the half Ironman. And so in the same way, if you find yourself paralyzed with even beginning, this is an example of a study exam aid book that I prescribe to all the students that come to me. And in essence, it's just got tons of exam papers. It's broken it down to the sections, and my students can find exactly where they need to go to do a question. So, for example, if they're solving equations, they can go to this exam paper, and that exact question is one. Then I encourage them, color it in, go to the next question, color it in. Each of these is probably taking 3 minutes. And they're doing this, and this is a brilliant example of someone who was just going bit by bit through all sorts of different questions, and in some ways didn't look like too much as they were going, but then the end product on the right here was absolutely stunning. And what I did with them, and this is one of my other videos on rewards, is for every row that they finished, so that represents a section, they would get a sticker on the star chart and some yummy addictive sweets. And potentially with their parents, they had made an agreement of every time I finish a row, I get X amount of money, or I get X amount of extra time to spend with friends, or time on my phone, or anything like that. But the reality is, by doing this bit by bit by bit in bite-sized chunks, you've developed a stamina to be able to handle it, and B, you wake up one day and you look up like the picture on the right, and you've actually finished all the exam papers that you wanted to study. I hope that you found this video helpful. If you did, please like it, subscribe to our channel, and share it with your friends. Thanks.